Good morning everyone and welcome back to a new video. I'm really excited because this video marks the real beginning of SailingCelina. I've got some big news, but more about that later. But first things first, my name is Chris and for the last 2 years I've been creating videos in 3 different elements: air, earth and water. Oh, hi! You're already here. Well, let's talk about air then. Air contains videos about my childhood dream of becoming a pilot. Ever since I was 14 years old, I've always wanted to fly airplanes. Let me show you why. Impressed? Well then, let's move on. Earth contains videos about my hikes. And even though I realized quite late in my life the positive effect of mountains, I now enjoy them even more. Let's have a look. But now let's focus on the third element, water.
According to my parents, I learned to swim at the age of 3 or 4, and ever since water attracted me in any form. I love to swim, dive, ski, surf and sail. For the last 5 years I used to live here on the beautiful island of Mallorca, and as crazy as it might sound, it is surrounded by water. The perfect location for water sports, especially sailing.
So let me tell you how I got into sailing in the first place. It all started when I was invited by my friend Franz to a day trip in the Bay of Palma. At that moment he used to share a boat with other sailing enthusiasts from a local sailing club. And to be honest, I never sailed before. I love to kitesurf, but sailing is a different story. But man, how it captivated me. It's unbelievable. It's hard to describe, but I enjoyed the feeling of complete freedom and all problems seemed to be gone. The weather was great. Wind in our sails, life was good. That day definitely marks the beginning of my sailing addiction. So I took a sailing course and within 1 week I got my first license. To sail as much as possible, I joined a sailing club here in Palma and together with friends and families I sailed the Beneteau Cyclets 39.
Over the course of 2 years I also got me a radio license and a commercial sailing license. The commercial sailing course in particular was a giant step forward. Throughout 1 week we learned different maneuvers like man overboard, docking or how to anchor properly, even how to deal with the toilet. The boat we used was a Bavaria Cruiser 45. In November 2020 a colleague planned a sail trip to the Canaries. He wanted to sail his Beneteau Sense 43 to Las Palmas and one spot was still vacant. We were a group of 4 and we spent 2 weeks at sea. Even though I had a rough start, the overall experience was one of a lifetime. If I wasn't addicted to sailing before that trip, I definitely was thereafter.
So here I was and
What is the most resilient parasite?
what?
Bacteria? A virus? An intestinal worm?
What Mr. Cobb is trying to say.
An idea. Resilient, highly contagious.
Absolutely. Oh boy, I'm afraid I'm infected. Infected with the crazy idea of living on my own sailboat and circumnavigating the world. Quite frankly, I needed a boat. But which one? I started my search for something between 40 and 45 feet. It should be big enough to live aboard, but still small enough to sail it single-handed. However, I did not put myself under time pressure, and so it happened that throughout the last 2 years I managed to see the pros and cons of 13 different boats. There were 2 Beneteau Cyclets 39 from the sailing club. There was the Beneteau Sense 43 from my colleague. I used to sail the Bavaria Cruiser 45. I managed to see 2 Elan 434 Impression. There was a Beneteau Oceanis 42 and a Beneteau Oceanis 40. As well, I used to see a Dufour 42 and a Sun Odyssey 40. And there was one, I don't really remember, in Tuscany, and another Chanel Sun Magic 44 in Sardinia. The problem with all these boats was either the bad condition, the layout, or they were simply too expensive. Let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about.
I found the Chanel Sun Odyssey 40 in Lisboa, a 3-cabin version with an L-shaped galley and a fully patterned main. Exactly what I wanted. The price, 75,000 euros. The problem, I wasn't convinced. Back in Palma, I found a very well maintained Beneteau Oceanis 40 from 2005. I loved the L-shaped galley with its big fridge. It had a huge cockpit locker, which is great when it comes to stowing all your stuff. I liked the salon very much, but I didn't particularly like the price of 99,000 euros. And I started to question the size of the boat. Would a 40-footer be sufficient? I bumped into an Elan 434 Impression in the harbor of Palma, and next to it a Beneteau Oceanis 42. I found the layout of the Elan quite appealing, the one from the Beneteau not so much. But the general condition of the boats was not the best. They were frequently used for charter and there was mold, lots of mold. The price, 100,000 euros without tax. Well, thanks, but no thanks.
After having seen all these boats, I wondered if the boat I wanted really existed. And then it hit me like a hammer. How about I buy an old sailboat and I do a complete refit? Not only would the boat have the exact layout I wanted, no, but as well, I would know the boat inside out.
So I started a complete new search, and what I found was a Chanel Sun Magic 44 built in 1990. It was located in Cagliari, Sardinia. To be honest, when I first saw the boat, I was shocked. It was not really in the best condition and I did see a lot of work ahead of me. I got a bit scared and I thought that I will not be able to accomplish my task. Anyway, on the next day we sailed her in the Bay of Cagliari and it was absolutely fantastic. The way I looked at the boat had changed and I could see its potential. It could become an extraordinary hard work, but an amazing project as well. Asking price, 46,000 euros. Unfortunately, at that day, no surveyor was at hand and that's why I had to come back later that year. In November rain, we were able to lift her out of the sea to check the keel and rudder and the general condition of the anti-fouling. Not too bad for her age, said even the surveyor. Yet, the general condition was still a bummer. Unfortunately, the surveyor let me down and could not provide a report in due time. I proposed an offer anyway. 31,800 euros. Outrageous, but I didn't want to start any higher. Well, guess what? The owner sold the boat to somebody else.
So I moved on with my life, but without a boat. Well, I had all the time in the world.
We have all the time in the world.
I love this song. Well, for the following 7 to 8 months, I hardly looked for boats. And so it happened really by coincidence that I found another Sun Magic 44 on eBay. The boat was located in Valencia, which is basically just next door. And the asking price was 55,000 euros.
A few emails later, I boarded an aircraft and found myself a few hours later in the port of Buriana. The boat had 3 owners, young students who fulfilled their dream of sailing the Mediterranean. On that very day, I met one of them and he gave me a tour. We were even able to sail. What a feeling! It was made in 1990 and had its flaws, but it came with new batteries, solar panels, new toilets and a wind generator. The sails were in good condition and it also had a spinnaker and a storm fog. After we secured the boat in the port again, we had a small bite and a beer. That was the time to talk business and I proposed 48,000 euros without a dinghy. Well, obviously he had to call the other owners and so I waved goodbye with a good feeling.
Back in Palma, I met the other owner. We sat down and we talked about the boat and sailing in general. After 2 beers, we signed a letter of agreement. Final price, 49,500 euros, without a dinghy. Why without a dinghy, you might ask? Well, because I already built one. suddenly I called myself a boat owner. Well, a co-owner, because Franz bought himself a share. So there she is, Celina, securely anchored and ready for our adventures. Follow us on YouTube and be part of the crew. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching and see you soon.